Hi, this is Jamie Magridge coming to you from my craft table today. Today I'd like to show you how to make this card. It is using the Stampin' Up! Graceful Garden stamp set. And let me scroll down and show you what we're going to need. I think you can see it all, hopefully. Get a little straighter on my desk, might help. Alright. Oh, I want it up here where you can see it. Alright, that's good enough. Alright. Well, first off, obviously, we're going to need the Graceful Garden stamp set. I'm going to be using the For You, this little rose, this little leaf, and this background. Okay, I've already mounted those onto blocks. We're going to use Memento ink, Old Olive ink, and Crumb Cake ink. We're going to be using one die. It's the one of the scallop circle dies from this shaped framelits. I think it's the 5th from the largest. It's the one that's going to frame up the 1 3/4 inch circle punch perfectly. Okay, so we're going to use those. We're going to use a couple of blends. You can color it with anything you wish. Today I'm just using a few blends. I've got 2 greens. I've got the light and the dark Old Olive. I have the light and the dark of Mango Melody and the light of Daffodil Delight. Put those up there for now. I have some of the adhesive back sequins. We're going to be using 3 of these green ones. They're really kind of pretty. I have, hopefully I'm not knocking the camera. We're going to be using the lemon lime twist from the ribbon that you can get currently for free if you spend $50 or more in the celebration catalog. You get 5 different spools. You get Lemon Lime Twist, Daffodil Delight, Balmy Blue, Highland Heather, and Grapefruit Grove, and you get 5 yards of each, and we're going to be using a piece of the green. Okay, and for the paper, we have a scrap of paper to stamp our rose on. We have a piece of Whisper White, which is 3 by 3 3/4. We have a piece of Pear Pizzazz, which is 4 by 5 1/4. Then for our and we have a strip of gold foil, which is a 1/2 inch. And then we're going to be using for our card base one of these gold foil edge cards in one of the envelopes. Okay, let me put those aside for a minute. Okay, so let's get started. Again, this is the card. It's really kind of cute. It has this texture on it because I wanted to flatten out the card a little bit, so I ran it through the Subtles embossing folder. So that's an option you can do. I really like the texture it added, so I'll show you how to do that as well. Put the card up here, and let's get started. Let's start with I might as well start with the background piece. Okay, and we're going to be using that leafy piece, leafy one. Let me show you on the box. It's probably easier to see. This one. And we're going to stamp all over the background using the Old Olive ink, and we're going to be stamping off the page so that it looks like we've made a piece of designer series paper and cut it up. And we're just going to fill up the whole page. Just ink up your stamp and stamp. This might be a little bit darker than the original. I couldn't remember if I used Pear Pizzazz on Pear Pizzazz or what colors I used, so because I made that card a little while ago. So just keep turning the stamp as you're stamping, and we're going to fill up this background. Some of this center part we're going to be covering up, so we don't have to worry about that as much, but it's okay if a couple overlap. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Let's put that stamp aside. We're done with it for a minute. I'm going to clean it off good though so I don't have any ink on the edges, because I did overstamp a little bit. Alright, place this one aside for a minute, let it dry, and then let's bring in the piece of Whisper White, which is 3 by 3 3/4. Oh, alright, and we're going to bring in this background stamp. This one right here. Okay, and we're going to move the Pear Pizzazz for a minute because we're going to use crumb cake. And we're going to just ink up the stamp. And we want the wider part towards the top, and just stamp it down centered in the middle of this card. Okay, and while we have the crumb cake out, we have a scrap paper Whisper White. We're going to stamp the rose with the crumb cake. Do it towards the center because we're going to be punching it out. A lot of times I say to do things towards the edge so you can save it. Okay. Alright. So now we're going to color this. We're done with the crumb cake, so let's put it away so we don't get it all over the place. Alright, and we're going to take the blends. I'm going to take the darkest color of the yellow. In this instance it is Dark Mango Melody, and you want to go a little bit light with it, but in these darker areas where it shows that there's darkness, we're going to just touch in a little bit of this dark color, just where it would be the darkest. And I'm really just tapping it in, just tiny little bits of it. Okay, and we're going to go to the next color up, which is the Light Mango Melody. And we're going to put in a little bit of that above where we put in the darker color, blend it out a little bit. Some of these petals that are a little bit lighter. Alright, I think I want a little bit of this here. Okay, then we're going to take the lighter yellow and we're going to fill in the rest of the flower. Make sure this lighter, the Mango Melody blends out good. Okay, then we're going to take our greens. I'm going to take the darkest green. I'm just going to put a stripe of dark green down the center. I'm not being fancy in any way or shape or form. And I'm taking the lighter, and these are the old olives. I'm going to fill in the rest of the leaf with the lighter color, and this darker green should blend out into it. Now I wouldn't put the dark streak and then walk away from it, because it would stay a dark streak. Okay. There's that. And we're going to take our circle punch, a 1 3/4 inch circle punch, and we're going to punch this out. Okay. And I did forget to stamp the sentiment, so let's go ahead and do that. The sentiment's going to get stamped on there as well. This is for you, just so I know I have it the right way. I think it goes this way. I'm going to stamp it on my paper first. There we go. So I'm going to stamp it on here. Perfect. Okay, we're done with the memento then. Alright, now we want to figure out whereabouts we want this on here. It's going to be about in this area. So we want to stamp a few of these leaves behind it. So we're going to stamp, let's say, one here. And we're using the green ink again. One a little bit higher here. One maybe over here. And a couple down towards the bottom. Alright. And we're going to take the lighter of the green old olives. We're just going to color in these leaves. There's enough detail in them from the stamp that we don't need to do the dark color. We're just going to add some color, fill out the color with the darker one, or the lighter of the old olives. Almost done getting there. These overlapping ones, just make sure they all have color. It doesn't matter which one's on top. Okay, we're done with the coloring. Okay. Now we need to cut out our gold piece for this, and I forgot to bring over a piece of gold foil for that background. I needed it. Started doing it and I totally forgot about it. I don't want it to be too big though, because I do like soil to eat when I run it through the machine. This is up pretty good. Let's see. What is it? 3. Oh, that's big enough. Okay, I just cut myself out of like a 2.5 inch square. Alright, so we're going to run this scallop circle through the Big Shot. And for my sandwich, I have my Big Shot platform, my thin die adapter, one cutting plate, my foil paper, another, the die. Now, if I was worried about this and this was a bigger piece of paper, I'd put a piece of copy paper or something over this so it didn't get all marred up from my plates. If it does, we'll just run it through the detail embossing folder, which is we'll just add the detail, same detail that's going to be in the rest of the card. Okay. There's that. See what I mean? See how it mars up the paper? That's sort of why I ran the other one through the embossing folder. So we're going to take this thin die adapter plate off. We're only going to need one of these because our embossing folder's quite thick. What did I do with the embossing folder? It was right here. Maybe I'll have to miss that step. I know I had it out, but I'm not seeing it. Okay, well, let's start putting the card together. We need a card base. Oh, and before we put the stamps completely away, let's stamp the flap of our envelope with a little piece of the leaf. We're not going to color it in, we're just going to stamp it. Turn it over and do one on this side here. Just for a little bit of interest on the envelope. Okay. And we can put this ink away so we don't get it on anything else. Okay. And we're also going to need some adhesive of your choice. Ink on my fingers. Let me wipe them off. Ink of your choice. I'm going to use Tombow Mono, the green, but you could use your tape runner or whatever you'd like. Oh, that's pretty, even on this wrong side. See how pretty that is? I like that. I almost like the wrong side better. This is going to get glued on top of our foil circle. Okay, we're going to add a couple dimensionals on the back of this. Just a couple. Don't need too many. Okay, I'm not taking the back off yet. And this, it's going to get adhered, centered on the front of this card. There's going to be quarter or eighth of an inch border all the way around this because it's a 1/4 inch smaller than the card front. This on here. All right. Then we're going to take our strip, we're going to run it down, this will be the bottom of the card, so the bottom third, at that third line, we're going to glue this on. And then I'm going to trim this off here. Where's my snips? I don't know, I'll use the cutter piece. Okay. Now I'm going to pause you because I would like to find that embossing folder so I can show you how to go ahead and emboss this. Sorry it took me so long to find it. Okay, it's the Subtles embossing folder. It's one of the Dynamics ones. It's a thick one, so you only need one plate on your machine. So your sandwich is going to be your Big Shot platform, your embossing folder with the paper in it. And you don't want it to go past the fold of the card because you don't want the back of the card to emboss. You just want the front of the card to emboss. And this folder is the same width as the platform of the, so make sure it fits into the platform completely. Place another plate on top of it. And I like to put this top plate just to the edge of the embossing folder so that it doesn't leave a mark in my paper by accident. And let's run it through the machine. Make sure it's all the way in, the paper's still in where it goes, and everything's lined up. Okay. And it runs through fairly easy. It doesn't feel like it's doing much of anything. And this one, there we go. Where it was running through 3 layers, it was a little bit harder. But it makes this great texture. See that great texture it makes? I don't know if it's glaring too much or not. There you go. It's really kind of cool. You might need to go back and recrease your score. Alright. Now we're going to bring our pieces, and this piece is going to get dimensionals on the back of it as well. So put one in each corner, one in the center just because. Poke our finger in them to pop at the edge of that paper. Come on off of there. Alright. Well, this goes over here, very close towards the edge, so we're going to have like a the same width around the edge of the white piece, the green, as we do on the green and the gold. Okay. Oh, we're going to take the backing off of these ones. Don't poke it too hard because you don't want to bend your paper. And you want to put that on over here. You could put it so some of it's hanging off if you wanted to. That would look pretty too. In this range here. I'm going to stick it down there. Okay, then I've made the bow already because I fumble with making bows, and I just stuck it on a glue dot. And this is using a lemon lime twist ribbon from the Celebrations catalog that you can purchase or receive free for every $50 order. And add that ribbon right there. And voila, there's our card for today. It's pretty simple, but it's pretty elegant. Well, thank you so much for joining me at my craft table. I hope you have a great rest of your day. If you see any of the products from Stampin' Up! That you would like to have, my name is Jamie Magrich. I am a Stampin' Up! Independent demonstrator, and if you don't have a demonstrator, feel free to go to jamiemagrich.stampinup.net or send me an email at jamiemagrich@yahoo.com, and I will be happy to help you place an order. Well, thank you, and have a great rest of your day.